start with the big theme that you're bringing to MWC this year. Your big push is around AI-driven network asset monetization. What does that really look like in practice?
I'll take that in two parts. The asset monetization, we've been doing that for 10 years. We have a product called DNO, it stands for Digital Network Operator Stack, and that helps CSPs monetize their assets around the globe. That sits on top of their wireless assets, their fixed assets, APIs, and data. And once you integrate on top of those assets, we allow you to flexibly launch different business lines. So that's the first part of it. Then the AI-driven part, we've been working on that, like everyone else, for the last 2 years. And that really means we've been adding applications into our DNO stack that are AI, and that's around support, around automation. But more importantly, we added a layer called the operating layer, and that layer really allows us to securely and economically use AI, because AI these days are becoming very, very expensive.
Absolutely, and you've covered a lot of ground there about unlocking value in the network, but what I'm curious about is you've worked with companies like Deutsche Telecom and T-Mobile US on monetizing network APIs, but the industry often gets stuck in pilot mode. With your new Ericsson partnership and investment, are we finally at a tipping point?
I would say 2026 is going to be a big year for network API monetization. We may actually hit that tipping point this year. If you asked me 3 years ago, hey, where's the revenue, where are the use cases? My answer is going to be, I don't know. But now if you ask me today, I think the answer is a resounding yes. There are lots of use cases and it's real. We're seeing real revenues coming in. So that's the kind of the tipping point question. Second part is Ericsson. Ericsson has been approaching this very systematically. And they're looking at the ecosystem, and the missing layer that they have is really what we do really well with T-Mobile, and we've demonstrated with Deutsche Telekom. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why they invested in us.
Wow, that's very insightful. And that's the infrastructure layer, but I think what's quite interesting about LotusFlare is that beyond just building the technology, you also operate a travel eSIM app, Nomad eSIM. How does that hands-on experience help you support CSPs in reclaiming the travel market from third-party disruptors?
Yeah, Nomad has been a very interesting story. We started that project 4 years ago. It wasn't meant to be a product line, it was meant to be a demonstration of what the power of eSIM. We wanted to show that to the CSPs so that we can sell our software. Fast forward 4 years, that now is actually a product for us, and it's consumer facing, and it's a real business. It's a very large business. So that all happened because we're building this demo. In terms of the learnings, we've learned a lot from Nomad, because not many enterprise software companies like us actually operate a consumer-facing brand. So we've learned a ton, and a lot of that is getting fed back into the enterprise software side as roadmaps.
Right, I mean, that's clearly giving you some very valuable consumer insights.
Exactly.
I've also heard you talk before about bringing internet DNA into telecom. In the near future, what's one legacy telco habit that operators need to shake to effectively compete in the API economy?
I would say two. One is collaboration. Operators tend to compete and they don't collaborate much. In the case of API business, they actually have to collaborate a lot more, because when you talk to the enterprises that you sell these APIs to, they all say, hey, if I'm only getting 20%, 30% of the user base, that is not going to be very helpful for me. So I think that is going to be key. And number two is they have to move fast. CSPs traditionally has been very slow. And if you look at internet companies, they iterate on their product on a daily basis. And we've been preaching this for the last 10 years with CSPs. Now all of our customers that use our software get new releases on a weekly basis.
Terry, some really great insights. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great MWC.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.